Mark Holberg's here.
Hello. We can't see you. We can only hear you.
That's probably for the better.
Oh, okay.
I'll second that.
Told him he had to wear his Sherlock Holmes hat.
I'm going to mute all of you.
How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Doing good, Bobby.
Good.
Bobby, are you broadcasting from Swope?
I am.
Cool.
I am. Yeah.
Still can't get it? Well, all right, is there a way you can just log in using my password? Yeah, that's what I had to do. It took like 10 seconds to install, though. Did y'all have to install the app all over again?
I did not.
I
This is
did.
Bob.
It's making Kathy install it, and I had to reinstall it.
Who else are we waiting on, Aaron?
Are you? I don't know. Hold on a second. Are you on your phone or on the computer? Yes.
Bobby, are you on video or are you just on the phone?
I'm on my computer, but it doesn't have a camera.
Okay.
Just make up a password and write it down somewhere. Keep it in your wallet. So Kathy's having a hard time getting logged in, but I think that's everybody else.
Okay.
So I guess if y'all want to wait, we can, or it's whatever.
Can she just? Well, can she hear you? Is she taking minutes? She's.
I don't know. John's trying to talk to me, but I'm having a hard time hearing him. What did you say?
I can't hear anybody now. Whoever that is.
I hear you, Bobby.
Did you get it? Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and get started, Aaron?
All right. John says that we have to hold a vote to be able to hold an electronic meeting, and we have to do a roll call of the people that are here.
All right. So let's vote on that then first. So the question is, do we want to be able to hold this meeting and vote on stuff on this meeting? So I'll just go through here. Bobby, what do you vote? I think you're on mute, Bobby.
Y'all are on mute.
All right, I vote yay.
All right. Buzz.
Yes.
Leo. Hold on.
I thought he was on the list. Yeah, he's on here.
Yeah, I think he just logged on.
I can see Leo.
I can only see myself and Josh and Bobby Weiscarver and Buzz Easterlin.
I think I see John.
Yeah.
Now I see Leo now.
Oh, he just got up and left.
He did.
Leo, come back.
I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, there you go.
I'll text you.
Leo, can
Leo.
you hear us yet? Who's the 414 number?
That's Mark Holberg.
Oh, hey, Mark. How do you vote?
I'm not a voting member.
All right.
Leo,
Can you hear us?
I just texted Leo that we can't hear him.
Well, if he can hear us, he can, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Leo, can you hear us? Give us a signal. If you can hear me, Leo, raise your hand. Leo says I can't get audio to work through it. Tests well. That's what he says. He says he's going to call in.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah.
I guess we got to wait for that until we can move
All
forward.
right. I do not see Matt Boer, Charles Horn, Ian Heatwell, Charlie Evans, or Jeff Klein, or Charlie Schooley.
That's okay. We can handle it.
Well, do we have to have a quorum for one of these?
Not that I know of. Mark, if I'm wrong, let me know. Okay. I don't think
I
we
guess-
need one, Aaron.
Okay.
Leo, are you there yet?
Hey, Bobby D, as a committee, you could discuss and be ready to make recommendations when the full board meets.
Okay, so
At
we
which
don't need to have a quorum for the cost share committee.
Well, for you to take action, you can discuss things, and obviously you can't take votes. Well, golly, you can't take a vote to go into an electronic meeting, because you would surely need a quorum then.
Well, what do we do?
Oh boy. Try to get a quorum.
All right. Let's see.
can't some of these guys make a phone call? I don't know what was done to arrange this meeting in the first place, but I presume the email went out to everybody. And
All
some
right, so there's
folks may not-
13 members and we have 7 people. So
Well,
we
then
have
you got a
to have-
quorum.
how many do you have to have for a quorum?
Just
Yeah, but
over.
those voting members, I mean, Mark's not and staff is not, man, so. we
Well, if
got-
staff are not voting members, then we have a quorum.
There you go.
Well,
Okay. If we can get Leo's vote, then it's what we need.
yes.
Well, you don't need his vote to have a majority in favor of an electronic meeting,
Ah,
but he does need to be present.
Well, he's here. We just can't hear him, and he can't hear
well,
us.
then motion carries. Motion carries, and let's proceed with the meeting. First up on the agenda is an appeal and some issue with the rock and pipeline. So, John, is this we talked about? You want to explain it?
I don't know how to put pictures. Let me know if y'all see. Do y'all see the picture?
Yes.
Okay, this is the picture.
Good grief. Now, where is this? No.
John, I can only hear you in the office. I can't hear you through the phone.
Gotta unmute, John.
You're on mute. You got to unmute.
Unmute my phone.
I don't. All right. Hello. Okay, there you go. You fixed it.
That's still showing mute. Still showing mute, John.
I think you got to unmute on the click on the little icon. Unmute. Hello.
There we go. Try that.
I unmuted you. We fixed it.
I think you're unmuted. Yeah, you're good, John.
All right. Okay, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. One of those photos.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay. One of the photos, I'm not sure which one he put up, was of a project we recently completed, and I had to get an appeal for rock. The other photo is of the spring development, and we don't have pictures of the rest of the land, but if you can envision putting a little soil over top of that rock, you'll understand what the appeal is for. I need to get an additional $11,596.30 for the Donald Vest project. Part of this is for woven wire, part of it is for some gates, but the majority of it, the rock falls was not put in there when the previous technician designed the project.
Hey, John, Leo just texted that he needs Aaron to let him in the meeting.
I just did.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
So were y'all able to hear my discussion?
Yes.
Yeah, I had to shut the door because we were getting an echo.
All right, so what I need to do is have an appeal approved for Donald Vest for $11,596.30. And Kathy did check the budget this morning, and there is funds still there unobligated. Just barely.
I think you should probably shut your door too because we're still getting an echo.
Any questions for John about this appeal? Any comments? All right, let's go ahead and vote. Bobby,
Yay.
for or against the appeal?
I want to approve the appeal.
Gotcha. Buzz, would you like to approve the appeal?
Yes.
Still don't have Leo for audio. Is that true?
Can he hear us?
Yes, he can hear us.
Okay. All right. Give a
Thumbs
up
up.
if you want yes, and a thumbs down if you want no.
Still, he's saying something. Can't hear.
Leo, raise your hand if you want to approve the appeal.
He's still trying to talk to us. Is there a way we can type to him?
I can text him.
Well, we have a majority
Okay.
vote yes, so we can move on. The motion passes.
Okay.
Hey, Bobby D, what committee members are present? I've got White Starboard, Drumheller, Easterling,
And
Tammy. Anybody
Leo,
else?
and Leo's half
This is
half
who's
there.
present.
You got 4 committee members present.
So this is who is on the committee and who's present from it.
You got 4 members.
Four
Well,
voting
we have 4 voting members, and then we have staff, and it says at the bottom, staff are not voting members.
So do you have a quorum or not?
members.
Well, so there are 10 voting members, of which we have 4. So that means we do not have a quorum. But then at the lower right-hand corner, it says that Rick Shiflett, chairman, is an ex officio member of all committees,
So we have 11 voting members.
of which we only have 4. So we have even less of a quorum now than we did before.
Let's continue on and with consensus to take to the full board.
Good idea, John.
That'd
Okay.
work.
Okay, so we have a suggestion that we will appeal the rock clause for the previous issue. All right, what's next?
We had the appeal, we had the rock clause. We've taken care of both of those.
Right, we've got recommendations we'll make to the full board. So update on progress.
Yeah, we're still doing what we can despite the limited office operations. So we're still moving along.
All right.
And then we have
FY 21 cost list.
I guess I can bring up the old cost list if y'all want. Or try to. All right, just hold on. I'll bring up the old cost list, but we were talking about making some changes to it.
Would it help? Can anybody get a email now with the cost list? Does that work while you're on your computer?
We can do that, but we just can't change it.
Well, this is Bobby. I'm looking at the recommendations on Aaron's list there. They all seem reasonable changes. I don't know that I need to look at every single cost.
Well, there's a few additional things that I talked to Aaron about this morning.
Yeah, we want to remove the cubic footage for liquid dairy and just have it say the lowest of 3 bids. And then we wanted to raise excavation from 20,000 to 40,000, but that is eligible for an appeal. And we were going to do away with 110 trees per acre, which that's taken off. And we want to add, I guess, does anybody know how much it costs to get your well testing and permits?
The permit is still $300. Mr. Weekly got back from me from the Department of Health. The permit is still $300, whether they do the site approval or a private contractor does the site approval for a well.
Okay.
They are transitioning away from offering both that service and the septic site approvals, but they're in transition from that. So currently they can still, if the person petitions them, they can still offer that service to well clients.
Okay.
Eventually we're going to have to add some type of cost in there for the private sector to do those, but it seems like currently we're still good. But the permit is still going to remain $300 for that. The testing depends on what lab you use, is anywhere from $70 to $100 and some dollars. And it normally requires 2 tests, because the first test, if it fails, you got to go back and bleach your well and all that kind of stuff, and then come back and take the second test.
Okay, so we could add $500 to the cost, and it would take care of those things.
Be in favor of adding $500. Any other comments on that? Hearing none, I think that's something that we'll suggest to the full board.
Hey,
Okay.
I do have a question. This is Bobby, and y'all can just give me a simple answer, but why is it necessary to test a well if it's for livestock?
That is what's now being required for the BMP manual.
Okay, 10-4, got it.
And that holds true on NRCS projects too, Bobby. It's got to be a class 4. That's what
It's class 3 domestic well.
Class 3.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, all those seem reasonable to me.
Bobby and I had briefly talked about doing a percentage-based increase just to try and get ahead of inflation.
Inflation.
Typically what we do is we take recent costs of projects that are finishing up, but we haven't had very many finish up, and 2, we haven't had a whole lot of time to deal with it. And I didn't know if that's something y'all wanted to think about doing.
You mean add a percentage to every item on the cost list?
So are you suggesting that we take whatever the inflation factor is for the past year and just add that, just multiply that times everything?
Well, since we can't make a vote today, let's go back and rework this using recommendations that you have consensus on. But let's go back, because if you do a percentage, you're going to end up with some really odd numbers. And so we'd like to keep things within, a nickel.
Well, yeah.
not go to really extreme. So let's go back through everything and then have it ready for the district meeting. But we already have consensus on the changes we've already want to make. And then let's go back and see where we have to go with this.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, John. Aaron, can we go back to the,
I'm trying to.
all right.
Okay. Y'all see it now?
No, I see you.
Okay, you do not
Bobby,
see my screen.
No, I see you, Aaron.
All right. Do you see
So
it
Bobby
now?
D, what were
Now
the other
Hold on, what was that, Mark?
what were the other changes proposed for the average cost list? Something about liquid waste pits.
Okay, it's on the screen there. Remove the 110 trees per acre.
Got that one. Yeah. Well permitting bucks.
Remove the cubic footage for liquid dairy storage and replace with the lowest of 3 bids. So, actually, I do have a question on that. How's that going to work for approval amounts? Would they be expected to get the bids before?
Well,
Got a new procedure for handling that, Bobby D.
what's
The
that?
district, assuming the state board approves what's been proposed, your staff will send conditional approval letters wherein a bid is required. It will be conditional approval until final bids are received. So it may be workable to go. I mean, this proposed methodology may be workable. It is quite different because you will have difficulty establishing your initial estimate that might go into a conditionally approved project.
Right.
So that's going to be a little bit odd.
Well, let me explain my thinking here. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
John. This morning I came in, I tried to work on this a little bit, and we had one liquid structure this past year that got completed. There were cost overruns dealing with excavating and all, and this does not include excavating. This is just the structure itself, either earth or concrete. The one that was built was a 16 by 200. If you go and use your calculator, pi r squared h, you come up with something. Let me reach behind me here.
All right. So
502,654 cubic feet. That structure was about 400,000 just for the structure, not including the 126 for excavating and some of the permitting. So actually that comes out to 18,617 cubic yards of storage. So if you saw on the old cost list, there was a price there at $2 for per cubic foot, or 14 for per cubic yard, 10.50 per cubic yard.
and we're probably not going to be doing an earth pit because of the construction specifications.
So what this came to is actually 80 cents per cubic foot, or $21.50 per cubic yard. But that is way off of what had been on this list before. And so, and it's so variable. Concrete cost, the size of the pit. You see, this pit had to go to 10-inch walls instead of 80-inch walls, or they went to 12-inch. They might have gone to 12-inch walls because of being 200 foot wide. So it's very variable. So that's why I feel like it needs to be based on 3 actual bids.
And of course, if we were to do that, it would have to get a variance, and they're going to want to see bids.
No question.
So I think the conditional approval allows us to pay for the engineering, make it eligible, so he can produce the design to take the 3 contractors. But I don't know if Josh is out there on the line that he can add anything to this. He worked with us last liquid waste.
I would agree that it's not that big of a deal not having an approval amount because these are going to be variances and they're going to have to get bids first anyway. John, do you know what the engineering cost was on that project?
It was significantly high. I think we have one here, engineering. Well, it may not have been, but there was a good bit of testing that had to do with this.
Well, the engineering cost is so variable too, because if you have to go back and forth 4 times to get the design, that's going to cost more than if you get a design and it's approved right away.
Yeah, I don't think we should be paying for multiple trips back because they don't know what they want.
Well, I was meaning more the whole issue of the state requirements.
How about we think about this issue for a little bit? I got to kind of process how that's going to work. So y'all are going to work on the cost list anyway. So let's just think about the 3 bids.
All right.
And move on.
Bobby, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely, Josh.
We've got a bunch of potential new animal waste practices, and I don't know if we need to consider a cost difference between a confinement and things like that. It's just something to think about. These are going to be different kinds of structures, and we may be good with our average cost list, but we might want to think about those new animal waste and how we need to bid those.
And they just put out new characteristic sizing information today.
Now,
I think it's something we could talk about.
These are for bed packs? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, there's going to be bed packs, even some slatted floor structures.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll need to think about that for upcoming cost list. Maybe you could work with Charlie and see what NRCS's payment rate is. And I can help you. And at least give us an idea of what, how much these things are going to cost.
And probably most of them are going to go through the variance process.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you do have time as a district to study this a little bit.
Okay.
And absorb, as you say, Bobby D. You are correct on that.
Good. All right. Shall we move on?
All right.
Secondary considerations.
I'm trying to. Okay, secondary considerations. All I did was change this date here to what the next board meeting is, and then I took out that stuff about that specific letter because DCR puts out new guidance every so often. So I just put the most recent guidance documents. So,
Where's that reference, Aaron?
are y'all seeing it?
I got a copy in my hand. Is
No,
that
I mean,
in the
are you,
policy?
Yes, I can see it.
Mark, are you seeing the screen or are you audio only?
I'm audio only, but I printed out what you sent to your committee.
Okay, so we had secondary considerations A through P. And
Yeah.
P is the one that I changed. Instead of
okay, I
mentioning
see.
that one document by name, I just put the most recent guidance documents. And
Fair.
that way we don't have to keep changing this every time they send something out.
Right.
All right, that makes sense to me. It's my belief that we take this recommendation to the full board. If there's any other comments or suggestions or anything you'd like to change, speak up.
Looks good.
All right.
Okay. And then we wanted to talk briefly about outreach and how this Trout Unlimited thing is really helping us out. And of course, everybody knows that the SL6 variants will be eligible starting in July.
That'll be just for the W's.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
W.
Just for the, what do you mean? The WP?
The wide buffers.
So there's no variance for narrow buffers.
I believe that's correct, Aaron.
Is there a variance for WP2s?
I don't think so.
This phone keeps kicking me out. I can't talk to hear it anymore. I gotta call in.
Okay.
So don't discuss a couple of.
All right. John said his phone's not working and he's going to call in and he wants us to just hold on a second for that.
10-4.
All right. So I've wrote down that only SL6Ws are eligible for a variance.
Is a W 35 foot or 50 foot?
35 to up to 50.
Okay.
Well, it can be 150, I suppose, but
Yeah, it has, but the maximum payment rate is based on the 50 foot.
Minimum 35.
Yeah,
Yeah,
assuming
minimum.
they don't change anything for the next program year.
Do we know
at any
when
rate,
DCR is going to have the rollout meeting for the new program year?
Yeah, it was in that link that I emailed out. It's going to be online. I'll see if
Okay.
I can find it.
one is on the 16th,
Okay.
and
16th.
there's two of them. Let's see, I've jotted down 16th.
And I know, what is this we're talking about?
The VAX updates.
Okay.
Yes, the 11th, I believe, the 11th is a Thursday, and it'll be repeated on the 16th, which is a Tuesday.
Trying to find
That's when
that link, but I may have deleted it. Mark, could you possibly? No.
Yeah.
If you have it, could you possibly just forward it to me?
Yeah, I've saved it. Let me get back to my computer.
Yeah.
So this is a DCR rollout internet meeting to discuss the new programs.
That's right.
Correct.
And so this is for staff
Here
and
it is.
district people.
I found it.
Okay, great.
I'm sending it out to everybody now.
Okay, cool. So, you know, that's not really for our clients in the field though. That's for us field people, right?
Correct, Bobby. Yeah, it's just for
Directors
technicians.
Okay, well,
and directors too. You're more than welcome to
Yeah,
participate,
sure.
Bobby.
Now, I'd like to suggest the district have a town hall meeting, Zoom meeting for anybody that's interested about the new program. And, you know, I don't know how to reach everybody, but I know John Benner's livestock newsletter gets to us.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll see if I can fix it. Okay.
So I'd like to suggest we you know, the district has its own outreach meeting for potential clients, and also have a press release that we can send to the two papers, and use our. Doesn't Headwaters have its own list that we send stuff to?
I know we email stuff out to people, but if you're talking about emailing it to the news, I haven't done any of that, but we can.
Okay.
And so you're saying you want our rollout meeting to be over Zoom rather than in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we ought to do both. You know, if we could do.
Yeah, only one issue with that is how many farmers are gonna tune in to an internet meeting. If you look at our, at this committee,
Yeah.
Charlie Schooley, Rick Shiflett, not to call them out, but they're farmers, and there's some of them more progressive farmers. And anyway, I feel like we wouldn't get very many people.
Well, but that's not the point, though. The point is to outreach to as many avenues and outlets as we can. And so, you know, what could it hurt?
You're right.
No, it would just take up an hour or so of our time. It wouldn't physically cost anything, and we could always record it.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good idea. So, Aaron, if you want to work on that.
Okay.
But you may be able to have a physical meeting late this fall. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we ought to have that too.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Has John gotten back on yet?
I believe so. I could hear somebody talking in the other room.
Yeah, he's probably talking to Leo.
I don't know. I'm gonna unmute everybody. Hello?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
I hear you, John.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what y'all discussed for about the last 10, 15 minutes, but anyway.
What we
It
said.
took me a little while to realize that I wasn't there, so.
We've been talking about you.
Okay, that's just fine. So if you're talking about outreach,
Yes, we're talking about outreach.
okay, one of the things that I would like to do, I don't know how many of you saw Rachel's tutorial on the underground classroom. I would like to be able to do something similar on different topics for the cost share program. Just a very short couple-minute thing that people could be emailed, or that they could go to our website and pick up. That would describe a practice. Have a technician do one on the guidelines for the animal waste, maybe out on a farm with one, and then guidelines for stream exclusion out on a farm with one, and just do those as part of our outreach this year until we can have a full-scale meeting. So I don't know if y'all discussed that possibility.
So you're talking about doing a series of little instructional videos about like say you're standing in front of an animal waste building and you're just talking about what it is.
Well, yes, we would be talking about, signing up. It's money's available again. This is how you go to sign up, and this is one example of the structures that we cost share.
Okay.
And this is the process you go through, and that's about it. It'd just be a couple minutes. But people might actually tune into something like that. I don't know. We're going to try all kinds of things because it's a whole new world out there.
You would
So we're going to try all kinds of things. Half of them won't amount to anything, and then we might catch one that will be a real winner.
Well, the videos would be on our website and on our Facebook, and people could just watch them whenever they want.
Can we get it on YouTube?
We could try.
Yes, because that's how Rachel did it, because she has a really YouTube account now because of the underground classroom. So yes, we can do YouTube.
I say go forth and do your best.
All right, we'll start doing that.
I might add that the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay has some young person doing tree talk videos, and it's the most popular thing they have, on the internet. So we could have John or Josh or Aaron have animal waste talk, and have a kind of weekly talk to your animal waste issues.
Okay.
I think it'd be very popular.
Have y'all discussed the DuPont yet?
No.
Like I said, I was off for a good while.
We have not discussed DuPont. All we've talked about is outreach.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about DuPont now.
Well, when you're finished with the outreach. We're also going to use the old-fashioned telephone for outreach.
Well, and hopefully if we contact the news organizations, hopefully we can get some stuff on the news.
Yep, Jeff Ishii, that sort of thing, on the farm, radio, whatever it is.
Well, we were able to get on the news because of the dams, so I think we could probably get on there for BMPs if we really tried.
Yeah, give it a try there.
All right, so I'll start contacting. I don't have cable, so I don't know what TV stations around here to talk to.
TV3 and 29, I guess, are your only two.
Is that NBC?
NBC 29 and ABC 3.
ABC. All right. So, and then we've got newspapers, but I don't know what's what because I don't get the paper.
Well, you want the News Virginian and Stanton News Leader.
All right. What's the News Virginian?
Waynesboro.
Is Waynesboro. All right. All right. And what's the?
Aaron, I'll be glad to help you. Just
all right.
let me know what you need.
All right. So we're going to take care of that. And yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Leo?
Hey, Leo.
In terms of outreach, I think what we're doing is kind of exploring and pioneering a new normal. And I think many of us are getting accustomed to using this technology. We mentioned that even today we don't have a quorum, but today is a good day for farmers to be out doing field work. And I think that part of this new normal is that people are going to be able to access information like this on their own schedule, as they use YouTube or Hulu or just whatever these services are. So I think that, anyway, I think we need to really embrace this technology as we explore different ways to outreach, and I think we'll create, a way to reach our producers that we haven't before.
I agree. So Aaron, if you could work on some of this technology and disseminating information that way, it'd be great.
All right, I'll start working on that then.
Yeah,
This
even
is
now,
John again. Well, go ahead, Bobby.
this Leo,
Okay.
even though I've had a glitch this morning, my computer still has a message that it's still connecting with the audio. So for some reason, that's why I'm on the phone now. For some reason, I can't pick up audio. But anyway, even with these glitches, I think we have to embrace all these new ways. I mean, after all, I'm not going to be one to show up at an evening meeting anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we should expect our producers to do that. We don't know how long this is going to last.
Okay, this is Bobby. I've got a question for the group. Does, bouncing off of Leo's thought there, does the Virginia Association or DCR, have they given us any guidance on outreach through Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that? Is there any broader leadership being provided to the district board?
I'll look into that and see.
So this is John. Last year, DCR had their marketing specialists set up some radio interviews. And I had one with Frank Wilt on his Spotlight on Valley Agriculture program. It was a follow-up to 2 days of interviews with Matt Strickler, the secretary. Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
Okay, and so I think that they will probably have something for the new fiscal year. They're probably trying to figure out what they can do right now, like the rest of us. But yes, they did have something from the top. It just to get all the word out about all the new changes and the extra money that they had. And so I'm sure they'll have some guidance. The association has been really good offering guidance on how to have meetings, how to have legal meetings, how to adapt to the changes in the coronavirus, but I'm not sure that the outreach is out there on their website just yet. But I'm sure that they will have some discussion. And while I'm talking, I will let you know that when the county goes to their phase 2, not the state, not the federal government, not all the other people we have to adhere to, but when the county goes to phase 2, our reopening plan says that we can resume visits to the farm for outreach as long as we continue social distancing and our mask protocol and our disinfecting protocols. So that right now the county was expecting to take place about June 15th, that they would probably move to phase 2. So that's when we can start doing on-farm outreach again.
All right, sounds good. Anything else on outreach anybody would like to discuss?
I will mention one thing, Bobby D.
Okay.
Be aware that the state board has its meeting this Wednesday, 6/3, June 3rd, to discuss all the grants, the policies, and the cost share manual. And assuming they approve changes to the manual, it will be posted on the DCR website, I assume within a matter of days. But we're way behind the schedule. So do look for that. Pay attention to what happens on the 3rd. And we're just going to move as fast as we can, but we are way behind schedule. The manual printing will be extremely modest. You'll have to rely, for the most part, on maybe one copy for the office and then the internet webpage otherwise.
All right, thanks, Mark. Is that it on outreach? Do we want to move on to DuPont?
DuPont.
Okay, on the DuPont side, Josh and I was asked to be on a conference call with Ann Jennings from the Deputy Secretary of Natural Resources, Commonwealth of Virginia, and Ann Condon, and I don't know what her title is, but she's with the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation or Service. Josh, correct me. Which one is it?
Fish and Wildlife Service is the federal agency.
I think that's her group.
Yeah, Foundation is NIFWIF. It's the people that do the grants.
Okay. Well, she provides grants, so I'm still confused which one it is. But anyway, we were on that program with her, or that conference call with her. And I don't know if Josh talked about this during the time I was having phone problems, but did he tell y'all that we would have been offered an additional $400,000 of DuPont funds?
We have been offered that?
Yes. Did Josh talk about any of this?
He did not.
No, we haven't discussed this.
I think Aaron wanted to wait for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were supposed to wait.
Okay. They had an idea of how they wanted it done, but we have an idea of how we can possibly do something more than what we've already done. So some of the ideas, and I'll go through the summary that Ann Jennings sent. These funds are to augment state cost share with DuPont funding for our stream exclusion project, mainly the SL6, and our forestry practices using the prior requirements that were in the original DuPont grant, which is 35 feet, minimum buffer, and 15-year contracts, and they will provide 100% cost share. Now, as Josh explained to them, if you have a pretty decent buffer now and you go 15 years, you're already getting 9% cost share, and the buffer takes you over 100% now in VAX. VAX has gotten a lot better. So we wasn't sure, as Josh explained to them, it wasn't a huge advantage. And what we really need to do with some of the other things that they are considering below here. One is if they can have an escrow account, is to provide maintenance funding for forest buffers. Consider a cooperative agreement with Headwaters with funding set aside to contract services and provide 2 to 3 years of upfront maintenance to get those buffers off to a good start. Now they're going to see if they can do an escrow account or not. The other thing that Josh stressed to them was in watersheds was to provide some additional funds for these narrower buffers. In the original grant, you had to have a minimum 35-foot buffer. We have programs that offer 10 and 25-foot buffers, but the cost share is not attractive. So they were proposing they're going to look to see if they could offer the additional 20% cost share in addition to the Virginia VAX program on buffers that were narrower. In addition to that, for those particularly rented land where you can't put in a well system, you can't be going over there all the time and checking to see if your trawls have water in them or not, where you still want to use a limited access, they would also give additional cost share on what we refer to as our WP projects. They're still stream exclusion, but they're not total. They don't put in a well, they don't put in trawls. You use a designed limited access. and they would allow additional cost share to bring that 35-foot buffer 15-year contract up to 95%. So they are considering some of these things that were not in the original.
Wait.
And
Could you hold on just 1 second? You're
Okay.
saying it would be a limited access only and 35 foot, but instead of a 5 or 10 year, it would be a 15 year.
it's a 15-year contract because it's DuPont funds, and we're bringing it up to 95% cost share.
I'm just trying to take notes and everything. So,
Okay. All right. So those are the things that's kind of going on behind there. And what we're going to need from this committee is consensus, since we don't have a voting quorum, consensus to the board to accept these funds if they come back and say, yes, we're willing to, I guess, decrease the requirements for the DuPont funds because we still feel like we're going to get significant benefit that the original National Resource Damage Assessment Report wanted. The NIDAR, I think, is the acronym for it.
yeah.
And so therefore they will do this. Now, I know that was a long explanation. I apologize, but some of the folks here are new directors, so maybe that gave you a little bit of background if you heard it all.
Would the additional DuPont money for narrow buffers bring those projects up to 100%?
Well, if
No.
it's 95%,
Josh, do you remember the percentage?
In the original, or
What you're
No, what they
proposing?
were willing to add, was it 20% to whatever that was?
yeah, I think it would have been about 85% tops. A little background, from my opinion, I stress to them is cost share has been around a long time, and the people who haven't bought in, are not going to buy in at 35. If there's, especially they wanted to target the Calbane area near the preserve there. And I thought with those landowners, we might have to go outside the box, offer a little better deal than our 35 foot. That's kind of a background on why we would still prioritize 35, but we wanted to have something in our back pocket if we could get them to buy into something.
And I'm glad Josh brought that up about the Calbane because now the regular SL6 and forestry practices would be district-wide in the Shenandoah Potomac watershed, not the James. James is not eligible. These other things which we have mentioned here, where they are decreasing the requirements and considering that, would only be in priority watersheds where we've already started work. But those priority watersheds in the county are so numerous, it would still be over half the county that would be eligible for that, the WP practice with the limited access and also your narrower buffers. Because they have Jennings Branch, Folly Mills, North Fork, Naked Creek, Pleasant Run, Stony Run, Long Glade, Thorny Branch, Canada Run, Porterfield, Payne, Barterbrook, Meadow Run, Lewis Creek, Broad Run. So you still got over half of the watersheds in the county. But I'm glad Josh brought that up about the Calbane because they want to build on where they've got nature areas now and go upstream of that to help protect it.
With the adding the additional cost share on narrow buffers, there's still going to be more of an incentive to go with a wide buffer. Am I correct? As far as
we're going to pay 100% of the wide buffer at 15 years. We're bringing VAX from 90 to 100%.
Gotcha. And narrow buffers or go from like 50 to 85 or whatever.
So we would just
if they were at 55, they'd go to 75. If they were at 65, they would go to 85.
So
Okay, I understand that.
Bringing them up to a level that they're actually attractive for people to want to do them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that would be really beneficial to the, I guess, the rented land probably.
Yeah.
Well, this is Bobby. Kudos, all good. I agree with all of it. Full speed ahead.
Yeah, this plus the Trout Unlimited could be the two things that really make B&Ps happen in this area.
Good deal.
Yeah. Now, John, you were not on the phone when I brought up one outreach aspect, and that is I would like to see the district have its own public Zoom meeting to whoever can call in or, view in. If we only reach, 20 people, it's still 20 people that we wouldn't have reached before. So all these new twists and turns that make things a little more attractive, it needs to get out there to the people. And we've got to take advantage of the internet now more than ever.
Okay.
And these would be good things if we were going to put something on the news or try to. Stuff like this would be something good to start with. We have these funds. It's only applicable to certain people for a limited time, so you better call the district and talk to them.
Do we have any unpaid interns that work on a regular basis in the office there?
We had one, and he could not commit to enough time to be able to really do anything.
I mean, was he paid? The one from JMU that we had right at the beginning of all this?
No, he was unpaid.
Okay. My recommendation would be start this out, leverage the assets we have available close to us for free. We've got 3 colleges, universities right here with a student body who definitely understands social media, and maybe reach out to certain departments within those universities to get some more interns, and their role essentially would be to be the social media platform manager for the Headwaters district. It's something they could still learn about the programs, learn how we help the community, and use the skills of the 18 to 24-year-old social media generation to our advantage in a dual benefit role. That's just something to think about.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Buzz.
The Shenandoah Valley District has a very rigorous, vibrant internship program.
Can we roll that over to the personnel committee?
Yes, they'll discuss it. We had an opportunity for an intern. Staff discussed it and decided that because of all the uncertainty of the coronavirus and our own schedules, we could not commit to an intern this summer. We hope to be able to this fall. If things improve and we don't have a second spike, but we're not even in the office. We're not even supposed to be within 6 feet of each other. There's no way to train an intern for the things that particular intern needed. Now, if we could just provide what we need and the information to a student who can actually set up a platform for social media, they already know what they need, are already familiar with that. That would be a little bit different if we could maybe work it in somehow this summer. But we still have to be cognizant of all of our issues we have here. The public's still not allowed in the building. We're still only 3 people at work a day. The other 3 are remote. So it may be fall before we can work it in, but we could try and see what we can do.
All right, thanks, John.
There's one other thing of outreach that we need to do. Several other conservation districts have a really strong relationship with Farm Bureau Association, not the Farm Bureau Co-op, but the Farm Bureau Association, the political arm or the lobbying arm for farmers. And in our county, in the past, some of the leadership has been pretty good about participating. Some of them have been outright anti-stream exclusion. So we need to foster that. We have a really good working relationship with the Women's Committee. They've helped host a number of women's forums that have also discussed conservation practices. But the leadership itself, we really need to foster something, because they were quite concerned of the legislation that passed the General Assembly. So I would very much like for us to try to foster that, maybe, Bobby, through the Young Farmer Committee, but try to get where we could use them as an outreach, that they might provide a little more of their newsletter to get out some of the information about some of the programs, and that we're kind of down to the last 5 years of making a difference.
You know, my mother is involved with the County Farm Bureau Board, and she mentioned to me that she would like to get us back to do another presentation to the board about cost share programs. And I think the initial step of where you're going, John, is to educate them. So I think that would be a good first step. So I'll talk with her and see when we could potentially go to their meeting and give them a presentation and start that partnership, or you know what I mean.
Yes.
Can I make a comment on Buzz's point?
Sure.
It sounds like we need outreach interns more than anything, and I think we've focused in the past on people with natural resources or agricultural experience, and maybe we should look more into like a creative arts person who can do videos. I mean, that's their strong point, because we've talked so much about outreach and not really about agriculture.
All right. Any other comments?
Well, I need to report to the board, just for their information, this morning, I mean, literally this morning, just about an hour before the meeting, new spreadsheets were emailed to us by the state engineer for DCR. They are updated federal sizing worksheets for our projects. I don't know how many people it affects. If you're not yet approved, any design work that we've done for somebody is now negated. If they're approved, we just continue with the old spreadsheet that we use for the approval. But anybody that we've sent one out, I know I sent one about 2 weeks ago to somebody. That'll have to be redone. And I don't know how many Josh and Aaron have sent out with estimates for the new fiscal year, but we will have to resize those using the new spreadsheets. It's just it's internal for us and just our work, but just so that y'all know, we are going to be sizing different. And I don't know how much difference it will make. I haven't run one through the spreadsheet yet.
Thanks, John. I know that's frustrating. Happens all the time, though.
Well, hopefully it'll be better.
Don't hold your breath there. All right. What else?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bobby for his new essay published in the News Leader that specifically thanks the Headwaters District for the good work that it's done over the years protecting the dam. So I think that was a really important essay, and I think it really created some good historical context. So thank you for that, Bobby.
Well, thank you, Leo.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, our district, Headwaters, has really done, they've always been a leader in a lot of things, and dam safety rises to the top.
Anything else on the agenda, Aaron?
No, that's all the stuff on the agenda.
Okay. Anything else anybody like to bring up?
I might add that our manure injection grant
Yeah,
is
give us an update.
about to surpass 2,000 acres in about 3 months of having the equipment. It's pretty impressive. So he's well on his way, a little ahead of schedule. I hope it stays that way.
That's great. Now, will he continue to do this? I mean, I'm assuming it's getting a little late now for the springtime, but will he continue to do it in the fall?
Yeah, probably not going to be a lot in the summer, maybe behind wheat. But I think you'll see a lot more in the fall after
That's
corn.
great. That's great. I think that's been a very successful project.
Yeah.
Any questions for Josh on that grant? All right, well, I appreciate everybody logging in and putting forth their comments and suggestions, and I appreciate the staff doing all the work.
All right. Well, I guess we'll talk to you later then.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Aaron.
Bye.
Everybody
Thank you.
have a good day.